Welcome, everyone, to the Awakening Together Sanctuary and to everyone watching on our YouTube channel. We're so grateful to have Helen Hamilton join us on the first Wednesday of the month with her satsang in the company of truth. So I'm going to go ahead and hit record and go ahead and spotlight Helen. And again, I'm going to say this for the recording. This is in the company of truth with Helen Hamilton. It's all yours, Helen. Thank you.
Thank you. And so glad to be here. And yeah, it's always so lovely to be back here in this beautiful community. Um, so yeah, just really excited to be here and grateful. So what I felt like wanted to happen here, at least today with this time that we have, it would be really, really nice just to sit together in meditation. So if you've had a busy day or are having a busy day, or maybe you're at the end of your day, it might just be really nice to spend some time together, just to sit together in meditation. And the meditation that we're going to do is a very simple one today. We're going to explore simply being here without our stories, without our agendas, and without any need to have anything really happen. And that may be easier said than done if our mind is looking to try to make something happen out of meditation or inside of meditation. I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel relaxed and all of that. So here's we could just practice here, letting go of these stories, these ideas that I need to find peace, and we'll find that peace is here anyway. So we can just begin by getting nice and comfortable. And as always with this meditation, you don't need to sit in any particular position. And you don't even need to close your eyes if you don't want to, although you might find it's more restful. And always, if you can, sitting upright, you can be supported in a chair, comfy chair or something. But not lying down unless you really, really have to for any kind of medical reason, because we tend to fall asleep and get too relaxed if we lie down, which is fine. But we want to practice being awake here without grabbing a hold of stories. So when you're ready, let's just begin by taking a few nice deep breaths and just bringing ourselves here into this moment. We're gathered together here for this very sacred purpose, and let's just make the most of that time. Let's be really here together. So just inhaling and exhaling, whatever pace works for you. We're not forcing the breath at all or anything. We're just being more conscious of it. You might find that your breathing just naturally deepens a little bit by just being conscious of it. It may slow down or speed up. It's totally okay. And just giving yourself permission to be here, to relax into this moment, whatever that means for you. And as you're just being here, see if we can notice any agendas, any things that we want to achieve from meditation or from awakening. Perhaps we want to feel more peace or less fear, or to feel more worthy, or whatever is going on, whatever reason we think we're here for meditation. And simply notice. And if you pick up a story, then simply, as soon as you notice, just letting it go again. Not getting rid of anything, not pushing against. Just coming back to just being here. So just being here may seem unimportant or even boring to our mind. But to our being, it's the most beautiful thing. Just here. Just resting here. Just being. Not being anything in particular. Just being. And at any time, if you find that your attention has drifted to some thoughts, some story, something going on in your life, just letting it go by refocusing on just being here, nothing to do. Just recognizing that we can simply be here. Just reminding ourselves that there's no agenda here, no purpose needed, just enjoying being here without having to be heading towards something, just here. And even if your mind or your body is restless, agitated, just noticing you can simply be with that. Don't have to engage in any shoulds or shouldn'ts about ourselves. So we're just practicing simply being, not being any shape at all. By picking up a story, we take the shape of that story, that idea. We're just letting them come and go. If you find yourself fascinated with some thoughts in the mind for a while, it's okay. Just coming back to just being here as soon as you can. Enjoying how it feels to simply be here with no agenda, no ideas about what's supposed to happen in meditation. It's just whatever is happening in meditation. Just noticing that when we have no agenda for this time together, that there's a quietness that's here already, a peace that's here already. From time to time, our mind will offer some story, and we might pick it up for a while. It's okay. Just coming back to simply being here together. There's nothing that we need to have happen. We're not trying to achieve anything here. Just enjoying resting here, just being without our stories. Anytime that we feel we've picked up a story, we can simply come back here like this, returning to the simplicity of just being. And in a few moments, we'll bring the meditation to a close. But before we do, let's set an intention that as we move throughout the rest of this session, this day, to come back to just being as often as we can. Just resting here like this, even while our bodies are moving, talking, working. Get this place of simplicity is always available. So whenever you're ready, and only if you want to, you can open your eyes and have a stretch. Have a drink if you need to. So I hope that you enjoyed the meditation and that you felt something inside that is already deeply peaceful, and the center and core of our being, which is our authentic nature, which is incapable of picking up stories. So even when we say that we're going to drop the story, really it's not true. Really, we're just coming back to that which is already free and relaxed and peaceful, and never loses that equanimity and peace. So I thought I would also leave some time here as well in case anyone has any questions or challenges that you're working through right now in your awakening, or any problems that you'd like to talk about around awakening. Other life stuff, maybe I'm not so good at, but awakening stuff, I'm all here for you. Thank you. Monique? Hello. I think you're still muted there. No, still muted. There we go.
Now,
Wonderful.
thank
Yay.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't know you were going to be here. It's quite a surprise, and I wanted to ask a question. So I'm so grateful for being
Wonderful.
here. And I'm so grateful for you being here.
Thank you. It's lovely to be back here. So thank you.
So my question is, I just started to work with you like a month ago, maybe, and I was introduced from Bill Free
Oh, yeah.
website or his and you were talking about, oh, you did one session, you were doing 3 sessions, and one session you did was, is it true? Is it really true?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it like every day. But my question is, like the first one that came into my mind was, I asked, what is it that I'm afraid of? What should I use? And the first fear that comes in was, I am afraid. Is it true? I am totally afraid to speak in public,
Mm-hmm.
because when there is more than one person or two people or three or more, it's total block. Like I cannot talk anymore. I'm sweating. I don't know. I forget my words. I don't know where I am. It just become overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing that, so many things came out that, like, shame and guilt and not being good enough, and like shame, it came so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was wondering, should I change my phrase? Is it really true? I cannot speak in public. Should I change it with, is it really true? I am ashamed, or something like that? Should I change it? Or I stay with, is it really true I cannot speak in public for 30 days? That's my question.
Yes, good question. And it was the same for me. That there was no way I could have done a session like this before. I was uh, so much fear about speaking in front of other people. It was paralyzing. And you get the sweaty palms and your heart is racing and all of that. But when I started to really look at why that was, it was because there was a deep sense inside that I'm just not good enough. There's something um, fundamentally wrong with me at the core of my being. There's this sense that if I expose myself in front of others, everyone's going to see that I'm just not good enough. And kind of keeping myself in a small little bubble was a way of protecting myself. And all of this seeing then it was accompanied by a whole lot of shame and guilt, as you were saying. And for me, it became clear that while I've never felt good enough inside, that I would always feel this fear of speaking in front of others, but also many other things, right? That kind of feeling that there's something wrong with me. It had always been there my whole life, and it colored everything I do and diminished my experience of everything.
Mm.
So it seemed to be quite a fundamental idea that was at the root of my kind of sense of separation, who I thought I was. So I did decide, I stayed with that question, is it really true there's something wrong with me or I'm not good enough? For 30 days, actually more than 30 days in the end, because I was enjoying it towards the end a lot. And all I can say really is, if it feels right, when you think about changing the question, does it feel good or does it feel bad inside? How does your body feel when you think about changing your question?
It didn't feel appropriate anymore that um, because the reason why I was afraid to speak in public, like you said,
Mhm.
it was not because the fear was there, but the fear was there because of I didn't think I was good enough. So that's why I thought to change. I haven't changed it yet. I wanted to ask you before because I wanted to do it the right way. So yeah, it's is so is it okay to change it?
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing two questions as well. We just do them in separate sessions. We ask one and then we come to the other question. But it sounds like the first question has done its work for you and showed you what the core issue underneath
Hmm.
the fear is, and that is this sense of inadequacy that we find ourselves with. And you can imagine if you were standing in front of people and you felt confident and you felt good enough and you felt whole and complete inside, that it'd be a totally different experience, wouldn't it, speaking in front of people? Although I have to say that you're doing a really good job here, with all of us here. I mean, no, none of us would really know that.
I I have to
Yeah.
say that the energy that the meditation we just had did it. I'm telling you, it did
Oh,
it
good, good.
to bring this out because
Mhm,
I was just my head was just shaking up. I always do that. Like
mhm,
I have reactions like a spring coming out and I cannot help it. Like it just goes like that. And then the smile came in and the joy, and then I start crying.
mhm.
And very, very, very seldom I cry. Almost never. And the cry just came out and I went, wow. So that power that came in, that energy that came in through my center, it it gives me that energy to speak to you. And I don't think you're gonna judge me.
No, definitely not. I remember being, terrified of everything and everyone. And it might not look believable now, having come out the other side of it, but I've been right where you are. And I used to spend many days just hiding in my home because I would go and get food, shopping, groceries when I needed to, and then come back home again, that was about it. So it's there in all of us, and it can be overcome by this consistent questioning. And in generally speaking, when you think about changing any question, it's good to remember that it's the intention really behind the question that's doing the work. So if we really want to see what's true about us, the question will do the work. Even if we change the question and we shouldn't have done, we'll still have the same effect because it's the intention really. But generally speaking, it's always good to check in with your body. Your body will tell you, am I trying to change this question because it's the right thing? And your body might give you some kind of yes, like a relaxation or a lightness or something. And then we can ask, am I changing the question because it's resistance or avoidance, staying with the question, the original question. And your body might feel tight and a little more contracted, which is its way of saying no. My body has this way of saying no and yes. I've just gotten used to those, feeling those out. And you can always trust your body in that way. But intuitively, I think it's the right question to go to this other one, right? You can kind of sense it.
It was relaxing. When I
Yeah.
went to the other question about the shame, I knew that I have always had that, the way I was brought up, abuse,
Mhm.
and I was always hiding myself.
Yes.
I did what everybody wanted me to do because I didn't know who I was. I never knew who I was. Now I do.
Mhm.
But before I never knew who I was. So it's kind of um, peace or release when I decided to change it. So maybe I am ready to do it. Like it
That's your
was,
body's yes, right? That's
yes,
you can feel it, yeah.
yeah,
So,
it was not a fear or it was not it was, I want to work on this. I want to get rid of that shame. The reason is the body holds memory.
mhm.
Um, I was abused like for 12 years sexually by my father and his brother. But I would get out of my body every time. Something was taking me out. I was 2 years old when it started. I had no idea how I was going out, but it feels like the body is holding the memory of the
Mhm.
pain. Now it's coming out. And I wanted to come out, like I wanted to free itself. And so without any story, without any just
Mhm.
so I've been doing that. I don't know, diet. I've been doing diet every day since I started it because it was like a miracle for me because I was focusing on my partner, on one person. I was told just focus. And then that freed totally my mind. And then I was so centered and so much joy came in and so much freedom and space. And so I started to do diet every day. But then I asked, how can I do diet without a partner? And then I was told in my diet, keep your eyes open all the time.
Mhm.
So I tried it to do it. I still do with a partner, but I really want to do that exact exercise. Is it really true that? So if I change, what was you, I'm going to write it down. I don't have a pen. What was yours that you said? It's not because the word was not good enough. There was another word you used. What was it?
I've kind of used many variations of it over the time I was working with it. I was worked with, is it true I'm not good enough? Is it really true I'm not good enough? But also fundamentally flawed was another phrase that came. And that was what I used for like guilt, a sense of
Mm.
unworthiness. When it came to shame, for me, when I felt into shame and feel into it yourself, see what it says. Shame said that I don't deserve to exist.
Oh
Um,
my God. Yeah.
so that was my question for shame. Is it really true? I don't deserve to exist. Uh, which sounds terrible, but it was actually a relief to get to that belief, as you said. There's like finally I'm getting to the root of the issue. And we can only look at this stuff once we start to see who we really are. I mean, look at it finally to heal it once and for all, because, like you say, it's all there in the body, and we might not be able to look at it or process it, release it when we think we are that separate person still. So it's going to come up like this, isn't it? But it's a good thing, and then we have the tools to work with it, just gently questioning it like this. So fundamentally flawed. There's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. Those were the kind of the feelings, the tone to the belief. But ultimately, it doesn't matter really what question you are. It's not so important we get the exact wording right. It's more the intention behind it. So
Okay. So
yeah,
I know what to do.
yeah,
If
wonderful.
if it needs to change, I would change it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
wonderful.
Thank
Lovely
you
to meet
so,
you.
so much.
Thank you. So glad we got to talk. Thank you.
Yes, me too.
Thank you. Wonderful. Would anyone else like to share something or ask a question? If you do have anything on your mind, feel free to just unmute or Mitra, yeah.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, love.
Um, I was not going to ask a question, but since there is no one else asking, I thought maybe I do. Um, I've been asking, like basically a question about addiction.
Mm.
So I have asked you about my addiction to marijuana and marijuana, and then you suggested that I ask question about basically, is there anyone who is the one that wants to go and smoke it, or another one that you suggested was that um, is that true that I can't quit smoking this? However, later on, I realized the real problem of addiction for me is tobacco, because marijuana is a kind of, like a temporary, like occasional thing. However, if I have it at home, I definitely will use it. But tobacco is the real issue, and the doctors have already warned me for a few years ago, and one recently just really shook me that I should quit. And I added another question to those questions: what is addiction? And I know that actually last year when I tried to quit, for 5 months, I had this sensation in my mouth 24/7 that this want to suck in something on something. And I realized, and I did an inquiry with the teacher, and fear came up. And then I thought about it. I picked up all this smoking, whatever, when I migrated. And because there was a very, I felt incredibly insecure and unprotected and all that. Probably that was somehow, I thought maybe it's linked to my, like when I was being breastfed by my mom, and that gives me a sense of security, I think.
Yeah.
So it's almost, I found it, tobacco, it's almost like I've been sitting, actually today is the 30th day of these 3 questions. And but it feels like almost like that 5 months of 24/7 with that sensation just really was incredibly hard. And I keep asking myself, is that true that I can't quit because that experience might not happen, you know? But the fear is still here, and I don't want to quit and again get back to it. I want to really quit and quit. And I don't know if you have any insights that you can share. I appreciate. Thank you.
I think for me, with my own struggles with addiction to many things, alcohol, you might know about, spending money, eating, gosh, so many. The thing that really made the difference, so that when the quitting happened, it happened by itself, it happened spontaneously, and it didn't feel like a struggle. It wasn't coming from sheer willpower. Those things fell away. Those addictions fell away. After I had really looked into, like you're doing here, what addiction really is. And I really found that the addiction to whatever the thing was, the substance, it could be anything, or spending money, or whatever it is for each of us. And even our addiction to thinking, I noticed that my love affair with my mind, well, love-hate affair with my mind, was an attempt to feel better. So I had to ask, what am I doing this for? So when I was eating and when I was drinking, uh, I was kind of became conscious that it's some kind of attempt to feel better. I feel in a low state and I do this thing to try to get a boost, a temporary boost or something. And the addiction continued because there was a sense that it was working. Every time I have a drink of something alcoholic or I eat something, I get this little buzz. That was the sense. And it used to be like that. But then when I actually looked, it was actually making me feel worse. So I'd be eating something eating a lot of some things to try to feel good about myself, or just a temporary sense of relief. But when I actually looked, that wasn't working anymore. I actually felt bad, worse while I was eating, because I knew, or drinking, I knew the effects of that afterwards I would have to deal with. So for me, clearly seeing two things really made a difference. The first, the fact that the addiction was really to feeling better. How I was doing it was just incidental. It could be anything, you know. We're in a low state and we're trying to feel better, so we take something, use something, spend something, eat something, whatever. And it occurred to me there might be a more easier, effortless, less damaging way to feel better. If all I'm trying to do inside is feel better, then what's the smartest, fastest, easiest, most permanent way to feel better? It became clear that it was going to come from the inside out. When I felt good enough inside, not like worthy enough, I mean, when my state was always kind of stable, that these things just would fall away on their own. And the second thing was that it just wasn't working. The thing that I was doing to feel better wasn't even working. So I had to clearly see that. If I have a drink, then I feel worse, actually, than I did before I had the drink or before I ate something, because there'd be all the shame and regret and everything, right? This whole spiral of, why is this still happening? Why haven't I stopped? So seeing there was really just a need to feel better, and seeing that that wasn't really working, and then asking myself, what's the best way to feel the best as often as possible? What's the least harmful way? What's the fastest way? What's the only permanent way? It became really clear that the more I simply focus on who I really am already, the more the body and mind are going to be stable and more equanimous anyway. These things would just, like, it just began to not even enter my head to
Mhm.
overeat. And that was pretty amazing for me. It never happened before. So only by filling the hole, the gap that I was trying to fill from the outside, by filling it from the inside, by recognizing who I am, that I'm already good enough, that I'm already safe enough. Because we're only trying to boost our state, right, with any addiction. And we only need to boost our state because we feel so terrible from all the thoughts that we're believing about ourselves. So seeing the addiction, of course, we want it to come to an end, but seeing it as a simple, innocent cry to kind of feel better, rather than, for me, I was making it the bad guy. The addiction is the worst thing, and it should stop immediately. And of course, we want to look after our bodies and we want it to stop, but not making it wrong, right? There's got to be healthier ways, is all, to feel how we want to feel. If you notice, if you smoke a cigarette or have a drink, there's a moment where we are really quite present, and it's the moment where we're present to what we're eating, smoking, drinking, that we're actually looking for. And we can get that without the after effects, without the cost financially, without the effects on the body, by going straight to the source of who we are. So understanding more about it really helped me to kind of let it go. Doing the inquiries that you've done as well, I asked myself, what is addiction for 30 days? And it came down to just an urge to feel better, to feel safe, to feel something other than guilt, shame, all of it. So I don't know if that resonates inside you, but just to look at why, without judgment, why am I actually doing this? Why do I smoke? Without judgment of yourself. And you notice this urge to put something in your mouth, right? And it's this urge to
Yeah.
nourish yourself, to look after yourself, to feel better. So
So if I see the insecurity might be one of the issues that deep down, because I never got into smoking when I was living in my home country, even though occasionally I did, but I never became addicted. But I feel like it's linked to insecurity. Should I, after 30 days, change it to, I have asked, is that true? I'm not safe before, even more than 30 days. But do you
what
suggest?
really worked for me was to ask, what do I really want? Do I want this drink? Do I want this piece of cake? What is it I really want? Well, I want the cake. Okay, why do I want the cake? Because I want the way it's going to make me feel while I'm eating it. Okay, then what do I really want? I want to feel good or feel better. That's what I really want. I don't
That's
actually
right.
want the alcohol or the tobacco or the food. Those are just ways that I'm trying from the outside in to change my state. And it only works temporarily, right? Not even sometimes at all, as we were saying, because I'm eating the cake, feeling shame that I'm putting more weight on. So it's not even really working. This question for me, what is it I really want? My mind tells me I want the cake or the drink or whatever. I want that thing on eBay. So, uh, so for getting clear on what the desire really is, all desires really are just an attempt to feel better. Even awakening, right? We want awakening because it's going to make us feel much more peaceful and, once it's stabilized. So you feel that urge to smoke. I mean, I'm not saying don't smoke. Don't try to change the outside, just really looking first inside. And what is it I really, really want, and what's the best way to achieve that? Again, without judging whatever our body's doing right now.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you. It's a huge subject, isn't it? That, affects a lot of us, even all of us really, with our addiction to thinking. So, yeah.
Oh my God, that's the number one before even tobacco.
All of it. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, love.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. We'll go to Mitch.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, love.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. I think I could also connect my question to like a form of addiction. I have chronic pain and it just and I don't like using the word chronic because it's not actually chronic. It does come and go, but it's been a theme in my whole life of just not just having health issues, and then I work really hard to take care of my health, and um I mean, more than anyone I know, I eat the healthiest. I do the things I need to do for my body more than anyone I know, and yet I'm still like more, maybe not more sick, but just I'm most often sick than anyone I know. So it's like it's really challenging. And what happened yesterday was I just went into like an acute severe flare. I mean, I don't even know if I call it flare up because it's never happened before, but it was like very intense, sharp pain ongoing, and consulting Chat GBT maybe wasn't the best idea.
Not always, yeah. It give you a heart attack or nightmares if you read it right. Yeah.
So, but I couldn't get a hold of my doctors. Like,
Mm.
so that was what I went to. And then they were like, it sounds like you need to go to the hospital right away.
Yeah.
And then, but I intuitively knew this is just my stuff, and this is just a worse version of it. It's not like a serious, and going to the hospital is just going to aggravate it with all that extra stress. So I didn't go. It is better, thank God. But I guess the question that came up is just like, I'm always amazed when these things happen that in any awakening progress goes out the window. it's like it's like in the beginning of it, I was sitting with the pain and I was like, okay, I'm welcoming it fully. And no, it doesn't work. It's so painful and it doesn't dissipate in the way that on other days it does. Like if I'm with my pain, normally it will just vanish when I'm in presence with it. But this was beyond that. So I guess it's kind of, I don't know what the exact question is, but kind of like what's the goal? Like what in your life does that kind of thing show up, and do you handle it differently, or is it just like, yeah, life has pain and there is an extra layer of suffering I can tell with the mental realm of like, especially with like, do I have to go to the hospital, and those kinds of decisions made it more stressful. But I don't even know how there's a level to which that's needed, right? Too, to like have to ask those difficult questions and feel difficult things. So, yeah, I guess I'm curious what you have to say about your experience with that.
Well, I was going to ask you what the story was. When you got to that point where you just couldn't seem to apply any of the techniques, you couldn't really just be with it anymore. The pain got so intense that everything goes out the window. Everything you seen, every satsang, everything you've ever, it's just gone, right? And you're just there with this intense pain and you don't like it and you really just want it to stop. What was the story? If you can kind of go back to that moment, the best you can. What was the story you were telling yourself at that moment that was the story that was going on in your mind?
I guess it was going between a story of just like, I hate this pain, I don't want this, and I need to make it go away. And then it would go into like the other moments around like, oh, is this actually serious and I have to go to the hospital? Now that's another story of like, um, I don't, yeah, it's kind of, there's the surface story of like, oh God, is this something I need to take care of? But then
Yeah.
there's like, it's like the conflict is what's of the not knowing
Mhm.
and the back and forth of like, no, it should be fine, or like maybe I need to go, is that's kind of already the discomfort.
So looking just a little deeper underneath that, was there some sense of failure because you couldn't just be with the pain, some sense that you were failing or something like that?
Yeah, definitely after the techniques don't work, it
Yeah.
feels like a failure, like um
Because this is the story underneath, right, that really needs to be looked at and questioned. For me, the times there's been a lot of physical pain for long periods of time. They pushed me to that edge as you were talking about, I'm gonna meditate my way through it, then I'll self-inquire, and then I'll do this and do this and do this, and then you get to that point where none of it works. And after a while, it became very apparent that there was this story there that if I was succeeding in my awakening, this would not be the case. I would be able to make this pain go away, or at least be at peace with it, or whatever, right? And so I had to really unhook the pain from this story of failure. The two things, I mean, nobody likes pain, and of course, when it gets so intense, it's always going to be too intense. Um, but does it need to be evidence that you're failing?
I
You
guess
know,
that was the kind of the core of the question to you of like
yeah.
trying to compare it with like what should it be like, like
So
what's the
here's what it would be like for an awakened being, right? It really hurts. There's a lot of pain in the body, and I really don't want it and don't like it. And I'm really okay with the fact that I really can't seem to do anything about it. Like the pain builds up and there's an intense pushing against that pain, right? After a while, there's an intense resistance to the pain, for example. And the awakened being would be completely okay with the fact that they cannot handle the pain at all. There's a difference there, right? And they would have no story about how we should look as we go through that experience, whether it's a mental, emotional, or physical pain, it would be the same. I don't want this. I don't like it. I can't handle it. There'd be a real authenticity with those feelings. And no linking it to my progress in awakening. This if I could handle this properly, I'd know that I'm awakened. That was the story I used to tell myself. If I could turn my finances around, heal my body, lose the weight I want to lose, fix my relationships, I know I was there, as in awakened. So, can you go through something like that disgracefully, like hating it, resisting it with everything you've got, and have nothing within you that wants to change that? Nothing within you that's trying to use it to assess your progress. Nobody likes pain. Everyone's going to hate it. Can you feel the difference in the way of it would be as awakening has deepened?
Yeah, I remember that occurred to me in my reflection around like if I was failing. And and I was like, okay, well, I think this is just accepting the fact that I feel like I'm failing and that this is happening.
So questioning whether you can fail, right, at all, really questioning that consistently. You are this already. And then looking at the human experience, which is often hard. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's terrible, and everything in between. An awakened being would prefer to sit in meditation with a lot of bliss and to be in chronic pain still. but there's nothing within them that's using that to assess anything, right? That's the real difference I want you to hear. And some of the worst experiences that I've been through have taught me that I can just get through them however I get through them. And I'm not going to let go of this idea that I can go through chronic pain by meditating and chanting Om Mani Padme Hum or something with a smile on my face, sitting in the lotus posture. It's just never going to happen. I'm always going to be resisting this pain, and I don't have to resist that, right?
Okay, that's actually really helpful because there is an idea I have that you would never resist the pain, and that's what is the difference. Is like, yes, and I feel like I've heard teachers say that is that yes, there's pain, but because there's no resistance to it, it's just there, and also peace is always there.
When there's nothing inside that can say this should not be how it is, and there's just a this is how it is, there's a lot of pain, and there's a real dislike resistance pushing against the pain. And I'm totally allowing both of those to exist. Then you cannot suffer even while the body's in intense pain. It's a story we're telling, about it. The first one is, it should not be like this. I shouldn't be resisting. Well, I am resisting. So, I'm either going to fight that or I'm not. Nobody wants pain, right? And the other story is then there's a little guy scribbling in our heads, we didn't do very well through this. You're obviously not as awakened as you think, And I was using that story, everything that's gone wrong in my life to verify that story. So the moment you kind of start to, can we use any outside experience, what's going on in our bodies, our minds, our finances, our relationships, to tell us anything about how we're doing in awakening? No, we can't actually. Most of the stuff that's going on in our lives that we don't like is a reflection of this story that I'm failing. So we have to uncouple that. Human life, it's hard sometimes. But the only evidence we can take as to how we're doing in our awakening is the recognition that we are already that we're seeking.
Right. And so yeah, whatever's showing up is what's showing up. And if that includes like even if that includes all the thoughts and stories,
Yeah.
I don't want this, I don't like this, and how can
Well,
I?
it's showing up to show us those stories that we're still subscribing to. The Buddha wouldn't go through it this way. Maybe he would. Maybe he'd be grumpy as anything, like while he's in pain. We don't know, but we have this picture in our head of what awakening looks like. And if what we're going through, how we're going through it, it doesn't match up with that, we make this conclusion that we're screwing it up. And that's what I really want you to get from this. You cannot fail at this. You are this. You don't have to become it. You are it. And also, you really don't like this experience or want it, right?
Yeah, I think also just like the term suffering throws me off because it's like there's like physical pain,
Mhm.
suffering that I think is unavoidable. That's just part of life. And then there's like the additional emotional, psychological suffering we add to it.
Yes.
And I think for the
That
most
kind of
part,
suffering is always optional, right? That
mhm.
kind of suffering is always optional. If I'm willing to question any story, and these extreme things like this show us these stories that we're still subscribing to, which is why I had you really look at that, right? Really come back and what were you actually thinking at that time when all your techniques didn't work? And that's the root of it, right? So really questioning that story. Can you use anything at all in a phenomenal world as evidence of how you're doing? And
Well,
the
and
answer,
also like in addition to the failure story, I think the bigger story that was at least conscious was I don't like this, like similar to the addiction, you
so
know.
can you really not like this? Can you like totally resist this with everything you have? Like, I really don't want this. Don't half-ass it, right? If you're gonna resist something, really resist it. Don't shud yourself. I shouldn't be resisting. If you're resisting, resist it with everything you've got. And you immediately begin to feel peaceful. I know it's a strange thing, but it works. If you're resisting, let's be authentic in that, right?
Yeah.
We kind of need to wrap it up for time, but hopefully we've got to the bottom of it here. You know, it's awakened being would just be as authentically as they are, not how we think we should be. And if that's resisting something, have at it. You know, if I'm grumpy, I'm like totally grumpy. If I'm irritated, I'm going to be really irritated.
I think we need to see videos of you being that way. It's helpful.
I'll work on it, right? I'll work on it. Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Helen.
Thank you. Wonderful. I'll hand it back to you, Shauna. Thank you so much for this time we shared together, all of us. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. I appreciate it. It was so beautiful to join with you in that meditation and with everyone. And 3 really practical questions to apply right now with your help. So we look forward to that video of you being grumpy. And we'll see you on Wednesday, December 3rd. Thank you so much.